Hey guys, I'm just going to quickly sort my hair out while I show you on a split screen what today's makeup look's going to be. So I've just added a curl to my hair using my tea-free curler, and I'm just going to go in with some of these new products that I received from Navy Haircare. This is their Pebble Beach Dry Texture Spray, and this is their Style Navigator Prep and Finishing Spray. Oh, I thought that was the lock button. Let's give it a shake. Of course, proper full-on spray. If you become misty, it's because I've got it all over the camera. So this just adds some texture, body, and it just kind of helps to keep your curls a bit beachy. I'm just going to spray this one to see what it smells like. Oh, softer. Oh. That literally smells beachy. I don't know what it actually smells of. This week I received a gorgeous delivery from Mercier. Look how beautiful this bag is. It's so nice, and it's filled with skincare geared towards oily skin. So they have skin essentials for all skin types, but the one they've sent me is for oily skin, so I'm going to apply some of these products today. This is their gorgeous Hydrating Lip Balm. It really reminds me of my favourite one by NARS. It's so silky and comfortable. The NARS ones have a little bit more colour to them, so this feels like wearing a tint. This one's just like wearing a balm. But NARS do it in completely clear. I love the packaging of this as well, it's beautiful. So this is their Illuminating Eye Cream. This is to banish dark circles and diminish fine lines and just make your eyes look more illuminated. So I'm going to pop some of that on. We can all do with that in the mornings. It's nice and cool, so it's a great way to wake up your eyes. So just pat that on. Doesn't smell, which is great. So it only smells like skincare, not fragrance. I also like to bring it down a little bit because we've all got fine lines starting to show there if you're of my age group. I also got their cleanser, which is a foaming cleanser, and their cream polish. So this one you would use 1 to 2 times a week just to kind of exfoliate your skin ready for makeup, and this one you can use daily. Love the packaging. It's got this beautiful kind of print to it. It's really nice, very, very classy looking. I like it. They also sent me their purifying micellar water. So this is great at removing makeup. You can do this before you apply your foam cleanser. This will remove the majority of your makeup. This will go in and clean the skin. I also received their Mattifying oil-free moisturizer. So this is great for me because, as you know, I'm oily. Most things tend to break me out and obviously make me look super shiny. So I'm really excited that this is a mattifying one, and it's oil-free. It's non-comedogenic, so it shouldn't clog your pores. It's got a little twist lock on it, so I'm going to pop a very small amount of that over my skin. It's got a really delicate scent to it. I can't work out if that's fragrance or not. So subtle. I don't like fragrance in products, but that is kind of completely worn away now. It smelled beautiful, but really, really subtle, like a real delicate scent. I can't put my finger on what it is. So I'm going to see how that settles in. But you can see straight away it's not left me looking really dewy. It's definitely more mattifying, and I like that. This is still a moisturiser. It's not a primer, so it's not going to have that silica feel to it, which gives you that kind of mattifying effect. This is a moisturiser, so you'll see a little bit of shine, but it won't be the same as if you're using a primer or a rich moisturiser. It's kind of that in between, which I really like. So I asked you guys over on Instagram if you wanted to see a tutorial with the Marc Jacobs palette or the Fenty palette, and you guys all voted for the Marc Jacobs one. I will do a tutorial with both palettes. Today I'm going to make it more about Marc Jacobs. There will be a few other products, but the majority of it will be a Marc Jacobs tutorial. The foundation I am trying today is the Marc Jacobs Remarcable foundation, and the shade I've got is 27 Bisque Neutral, which is in the fair category. And it's got a little dot applicator to it, as you can see. It was kindly gifted to me. It might be fine, it might not be. It does say give it a really good shake before you use it. And this is supposedly super full coverage. I've applied a couple of dots to my palette because I feel like that's the most hygienic way to use this. I'm going to use my IT Cosmetics CC Skin Perfecting number 702 brush. We're going to buff this onto the skin. So this is an oil-free foundation. Oh, it's not a bad colour actually. With full coverage, so it's got twice as much pigment in it than a regular full coverage foundation, and instantly you can see it really is full coverage, and it really is lightweight. Normally a lot of full coverage foundations I can see sitting on the skin and they need to really be buffed in. From a distance in that mirror, let's have a look closer. Oh, I like this. It literally looks like skin. Maybe I found another one from a wedding. Oh, I'm getting a little list together now. Oh, I like this. I like it a lot. It's so lightweight and really good coverage. And actually, that's not a bad shade. And it's in the fair. So I'm thinking out of the 22 shades that they've got, I'm not sure how light they go, because normally I fall into light and then in summer, the beginning of a medium range. So this is fair, and this is neutral undertone. I've gone for a neutral because I can see both blue and green veins, which means I'm a neutral undertone. I've discussed this in other videos. I think my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation review, go check it out because I explain it a little bit more there. So this gives a soft matte finish, which is lovely if you're an oily person. If you're a dry person and you want something that's dewy, it might be something that you get on with, but by applying a highlighter or something over the top in the areas that you want a little bit more of a dewy finish. I have seen a lot of reviews for this for people with oily skin, and it's kind of been mixed. Some people have loved it, some people have said that it looks great in the beginning and doesn't last well. So if you would like a proper foundation review of this, let me know and I will do one for you. I know this has been out for quite a while, but it's the first time I've got to try it out. So even though it has a soft matte finish to it, it does have golden mica pigments, I think they're called, for radiance. I say mica, some of you might say mica. It contains jojoba, acacia, mimosa and sunflower extract in it. Sounds like a really nice drink cocktail. And the idea is it helps with blendability. I'm trying to remember all the details of it to give it to you so that you can make an informed decision as to whether it's for you. I'm going to take it over the eyes. If you want longevity, then a primer is really good. I really do like the NARS Tinted Smudge Proof eyeshadow base. For me, that's one of the more superior of the eyeshadow bases. It's fantastic at keeping everything in place, and because it is tinted, it just helps to neutralise your eyelid before you apply your makeup. Looks really nice. Zoom in. So yeah, looks really good. Full coverage, doesn't look cakey. I really hope this is going to be a good one, because I probably think this is sat the nicest for full coverage on my skin in ages. So I hope this is going to be good, because this is one that I would consider for my wedding because it looks beautiful. I haven't primed my skin. I've not used any oil control primer underneath. I just kind of want to see how it goes. I'll see how it works. Let me know if you want a proper review and I'll do that as a separate tutorial. For brows, I'm going to use my MAC Shape and Shade brow tint. I don't have anything by Marc Jacobs to use. This is my favourite anyway, so unless Marc Jacobs come up with one identical to this, then for now and for always, I will use this. I do have a tutorial on how I do my brows. I will link it on screen for you, and then I'm going to move straight onto eye makeup. This is the beautiful Marc Jacobs Fantasine palette in 790. As you can see, it's filled with beautiful peaches, corals, a copper. It's right up my street. The first shade I'm taking is the lightest colour in the palette, called Flesh. This is a matte finish, warm tone, light beige. And using a flat shader brush, I'm applying this to the inner corners of the eyes, and I'm also taking it onto the inner third of the mobile lid and a little bit onto the tear duct area. And this is really going to open the eyes, making them look brighter. And it's also a great tip if your eyes are slightly too close together, because this will make them look a little bit further apart. Now I'm going in with the colour She Said, which is a medium warm metallic coral. And I'm using my finger to place this onto the mobile lid from the lash line up to where the eye creases, and taking that most of the way across. I'm not going to take it all the way to the outer corner because we're going to apply a different colour there. As this is a metallic finish, it does go on better if you use your fingers. This is beautiful. It's not super reflective, it's just the right amount. Whether it's a daytime look or an evening, it's not overpowering. The next colour I'm taking is the shade Meet Ya. and this is a medium dark copper and it's a metallic finish. So again, I'm going to use my finger to apply it, and I'm only taking this on the outer half of the mobile lid, but because I don't want it to be too dark or too orangey, I'm actually going to go in with She Said, which is the last colour that we applied, and use this over the top to soften it slightly, so it will look more like a lighter coral transitions into more of a darker coral rather than coral into copper. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm gently swiping over the top to soften the copper shade. Now I'm going to use a brush dipped into this matte finish medium coral, and I'm very softly going to buff this into the socket line of the eye. So this is going above the area that we've applied the first two eyeshadows. At the front of the socket, I'm taking it up towards the eyebrow, and on the outer half of the eye I am pulling it out towards the tail of the eyebrow. Once I've finished buffing in the initial placement, I'm using what's left on the bristles to buff it up towards the eyebrow itself. I don't mind taking this one quite high because we're going to go back in with another colour in a minute to soften it. So I'm just using my finger to blend out the edges so there's no harsh lines. I'm also taking that colour underneath the lower eyelashes, and I am using the same blending brush because it doesn't matter if it goes a little bit lower, that's okay. Taking the shade Flesh, which is the same colour we've got on the inner corners of the eyes, I'm taking that across the brow bone, and as you can see it's softening the colour that we've taken high up. You might be wondering what's the point in taking the colour up only to then soften it down with the lighter shade. The reason why is because we do get a beautiful, very subtle transition of a lighter coral shade where the two mix. So that's the purpose of taking the coral shade up higher and then softening over the top of that with the very light beige colour. Dipping my brush back into the shade Fantasy, which is the matte coral, I'm buffing a light layer over the top to intensify the outer wing and socket line. Next I'm taking this medium warm toned sort of plummy shade, and on a small fluffy blending brush I'm working this on the outer third of the mobile lid and just into the socket in a little bit of a V shape to add a little bit more depth to the look. This is very subtle, but it's just going to make it look a little bit more intense. As always, once you finish with the majority of that placement, use what's left on the bristles to feather it out so it doesn't look harsh. I'm going in with a layer of Fantasy underneath those lower eyelashes to frame the eye. Now I'm going in with the Marc Jacobs Eyeliner in the shade Berry Deep, and this is like a deep raspberry tone, and the finish of this is almost like a shine. It's quite unique. So I'm placing this halfway across the eyelash line and then pulling it all the way to the outer edge, and I'm also going to wing it out, but we will be diffusing this. Online I can see they do these eyeliners in around 12 different shades. They have them in this shiny finish, but they also have it in a metallic finish, and they have them in a real variety of colours. Next I'm taking my MAC pencil in the shade Coffee. I'm running that along the waterline and I'm also using it to tightline. Then I'm dipping a very small brush into the matte plummy shade called 4 More, which is the one we used to deepen the outer V, and I'm running that between the lower eyelash lines just to softly smoke that out, and then I'm also using it on top of the berry eyeliner, and I'm pulling that colour up just to softly smoke it out. But don't worry, we will be intensifying the berry again, but this is just working as a bit of a transition. So I'm coating the bristles in a small amount of the liquid eyeliner, and then I'm going to buff that over the top, and this is working into that eyeshadow we just applied, so it creates a diffused transition between the eyeliner that we've already laid down and the eyeshadow that was smoked onto the eye. I use a bit of a tapping motion to lay down the initial colour, and then I very softly buff over the top so it fades into the eyeshadow, and I'm also using what's left on the bristles to take that further along towards the inner corner of the eye. Today I'm going to lay down a primer onto my eyelashes first. This is the Marc Jacobs Epic Lash Velvet Primer. As it's spring, we're all going for a bit of an eyelash shed at the minute, and my inner lashes are non-existent. So this is a great way to make the most of your natural lashes before applying mascara. I thought I would show you this even though I'm going to apply some falsies, because some of you aren't a fan of wearing false eyelashes, so this is a great way to make the most of your natural eyelashes. Once you give that a couple of minutes to semi-set, I'm then going in with a Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir mascara, which I was a huge fan of for many years. This is my personalised one and I absolutely love it. And I'm working this over the top of the eyelash primer. You might want to give it a little bit of a wiggle to make sure you cover all of the primer. And don't worry if you get any on your eyelid, because if you give it a couple of minutes to dry, it literally just knocks off with a cotton bud. And as you can see, this is the kind of mascara that from a distance is going to give you lovely, dramatic, voluminous eyelashes. For more density, I'm using these ones by Velour. They are called Would I Lie. Under my eyes, I'm going to lighten the skin slightly using the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Complete Coverage Concealer. This is really hydrating. It's a really lovely concealer that gives you coverage but doesn't enhance your fine lines and wrinkles and smile lines and all the bits you don't want. If you've got really dark circles, then this might not have the coverage you want, but I do feel like it gives you really good coverage. The foundation, as you can see, is a little bit more yellow than my skin, so we're going to bronze it in the right areas so that we don't make the face too dark, because otherwise it just won't match. We've only had 2 warm days, so I'm a little bit pasty at the minute. So that's why I'm sticking with the light shade, and rather than blending in the medium like I normally do, this foundation's actually definitely darker than the fair tone that it claims to be. It's giving me a little bit of colour to my skin. So I only need to bronze in the areas that are going to shape the face rather than darkening it too much. Just use what's left on the bristles to kind of blend it down so it doesn't stop all of a sudden. I'm going to add a tiny amount down the centre of my nose, a little bit here, and a little bit on my chin. And this instantly helps to bring a little bit of life to the face because it doesn't look flat. Foundation, especially full coverage, can often make the skin look really flat. And the skin isn't flat, the face isn't flat, it's 3-dimensional, so we just need to add that back in with highlight and contour. So it's already looking a lot better. I'm using a synthetic brush just to soften this on the skin because it's a creamy based concealer, so it helps with the bristles being synthetic because it doesn't clump in the bristles. I'm also just going to add a little bit here. So that's helped to illuminate the centre of the face. Next I'm going to take a small amount of the Marc Jacobs Tantastic Omega Bronzer. This is the Coconut Perfect Tan. It's a beautiful matte bronzer. If you follow me on Instagram, then you will have seen me doing a little bit of a get ready with me over on my stories the other day, and I used this and it was the most clicked through product. So all of you loved it. I'm just popping this on the cheekbone area, and I'm taking it slightly lower into where the contour would be because I don't want to add anything too dark. I just want to kind of sculpt the face slightly. And I'm not taking it too far over the cheek because I don't want it to bronze up the skin too much. I kind of just want to add a little bit of shape. The brush I'm using is my favourite one by Zoeva. This is the 132 Luxe Powder Finish Brush. And then just on the sides of the forehead, rather than going all the way around, because again, we don't want to add too much colour to the skin because the face is already a nice shade. Taking a small amount of the Laura Mercier translucent powder and just pressing that underneath the eyes where we've applied the concealer. This is going to set it in place and make sure it doesn't move. I'm also taking it through the T-section because I'm an oily mess within a few hours. Just use your powder puff to press that into the skin. Rather than knocking the excess powder off, press it in. And you'll see it just makes the skin look that much more flawless. For blush, I'm going to use this one by KVD, which was Kat Von D. This is a matte blush in the shade Honeysuckle, and I feel like it's just got that nice kind of warm tone that's going to match the makeup on the eyes. I haven't used a powder blush in ages, or what feels like ages, because I've so been into the cream blushes recently that I've not wanted to use anything else. But these are lovely. They have lovely, lovely shades. Kind of something to suit everybody. They've got mauves, they've got beiges, nudes and pinks. See how that just matches the eyes beautifully. I've then got these 2 beautiful lipsticks by Marc Jacobs. I love the packaging. It's got that kind of like magnetic pull to it. It's really satisfying. The little flat section's only a very small bit. It's almost like it comes around a lot further than others. Normally there's a sharper tip, so they're really bizarre looking, but I really like them. So I've got the shade Sugar High and Shakedown. I'm going to try Shakedown because it seems to kind of match the eye makeup a little bit more. My lips are really hydrated from my Mercier Lip Balm. They're really pigmented. So what do you guys think? I love it. This is very me. I love peachy tones. I love warm colours. I love corals. So this kind of warm shade is just right up my street. Don't normally like a lip colour, but I actually really like this one. This one's that Shakedown one. It's beautiful. Really matches the eyes. It goes with the blush on the cheeks. So yeah, overall, I really love it. I will list all the products I've used in the description bar for you. Don't forget to subscribe and give this tutorial a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And come follow me over on Instagram. I'm a little bit more active on there on a daily basis. So if you want to see what new products I receive, new things that I'm recommending, come over there and follow me. As always, thank you so much for watching and I will see you next week. Bye.